Hey everybody, it's Kevin and it's Christina, and we're so excited to be here with you guys tonight. The world of healthcare is changing really rapidly, and being able to partner with people like Christina to help connect our profession in new ways is an absolute pleasure for me as a person, just personally, from a business standpoint, from a professional standpoint. So I'm very thankful and grateful that Christina's here. We'll hear more from her and get to hear more about this really exciting movement inside of healthcare and why it's going to take a community to do it. We'll talk to you soon. Christina, that with that big drink of coffee, I just ready to blow our minds.
It is not coffee, actually. It's a cinnamon apple something. It's tea.
got
I'm
it.
super boring. It's not booze. It's not whiskey. It's just straight tea.
When you said it's not coffee, I was thinking, well, that's true over by Christina's area. It's pretty late right now, so maybe that's the nightcap. But just tea. So that's perfect. The beverages that we're having over in Cincinnati, like what are the drinks of choice, Christina, for healthcare right now? Because what we've been swallowing has not tasted good. We've got people leaving the profession like crazy. We've got individuals that no longer want to be in healthcare, and I know for you and I, we've talked, personally and offline about how heartbreaking that is, and then wanting to be able to rally the troops and come back together and do some things special. So tell us more about it, Christina, and please introduce yourself for those that don't know you. I feel like everybody knows Dr. Christina Fontana, but please take it away.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Dr. Christina Fontana. I am a 5-time author, rapid transformation business coach, and founder of the Healers in Healthcare movement, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. And really what this movement is, when I got this download that came through, I call it a download. It's an intuition. I'm very intuitive. And when this came through last May, I saw this in my mind's eye. It was like this big group of people. And I knew that God was calling me to do something bigger with my life than I had ever done before. And so with that comes a lot of fear and a lot of excitement and all of those things that came through. And I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to call together all of these women, and men. I also coach men, but at the time, it was a lot of women that came together to create this incredible book that's called Moving Beyond the Counter and Elevating into Heart-Centered Healthcare. So that's what we're really talking about, is looking at not only pharmacists and healers in healthcare, but also students. A big passion of mine is actually reaching students in pharmacy school, because I feel like there's so much potential for them to be molded. For them, they're still at that point where they're not jaded quite yet, and they're really excited about all of the possibilities that they can create. And so I love talking to pharmacy schools. I actually saw, Kevin, you talked at one of your pharmacy schools recently,
Cougs,
and over on the West Coast. What'd you say?
I said go Cougs. That's right. WSU.
Yeah. So I really want to empower the healer in healthcare to know that there are so many possibilities, and your PharmD is such a strong, solid foundation to do that. And so this book actually showcases and highlights 19 different pharmacist stories across all different, functional medicine, pharmacogenomics, financial coaching. There's so much that you can do. And there are two reasons why I wanted to create this book. It was, yes, to show you what's possible, but also to really look at the deeper healing that needs to happen within us as practitioners, but also with our patients. And I think that, in conventional medicine, we often look at, it's a lot of the suppression, right? So it's a pill for an ill. We're not really looking at the root cause. That's how we were taught in pharmacy school. It's kind of that, basic, this person has this symptom. This is what you give them. This is the drug that goes with it. And then, I think that we started to awaken as a collective in pharmacy to realize, things like functional medicine and diet and nutrition and all of that. And I think that there's a final frontier that is going to start to come through. And I think that's actually the deeper healing that is quantum physics, that is inner healing and transformation work. And that is what I want to bring, along with all these other amazing healers. I want to bring that conversation to healthcare, because what wasn't addressed was trauma. Whenever we looked at the root cause of disease, it's okay, nutrition, environment. If you get into a car accident, obviously it's like a physical trauma, but what isn't addressed is the nervous system. The nervous system holds trauma in the body. And so if we're not looking at the root cause of that, then you can give somebody all the pills and all of the, looking at their labs and all of that. But if they're not looking at, well, okay, I had abuse growing up, or I've had this trauma, or I'm in fight, flight, or freeze all the time. And that's why my body is responding and my immune system's lowered. And I have all of these, I have endometriosis or whatever that is. Disease manifests in the body, but it happens from trauma a lot of times. And that's what I want to bring to this conversation, because I'm a person that experienced trauma, and I had, mental, physical, emotional abuse as a child. And I, grew up in a very controlling environment. And I realized, I started to have anxiety, and I had eating disorders and all of this dysregulation. And what was being taught to me in pharmacy school with that conventional medicine, I was like, this doesn't make sense. Then I went along this healing journey of looking at the deeper cause of trauma and, subconscious programming and hypnosis and energy work and all of the things that we're going to be talking about at this Healers in Healthcare conference, in addition to these other things, right? Functional medicine, like I talked about. But there's something that we're not addressing. And I feel that the energetic part of who we are in the holistic model has not been addressed or even talked about until this point. And people like Lauren Castle and Marina Buksov are starting to really talk about this too. And they're saying, yeah, like there's something missing from really helping our patients heal at a deeper level. So again, I went through all of that trauma, and I was like, well, what I'm being told doesn't make sense based upon the current disease model of, it's coming from all these different factors. So that set me on a journey of healing and transformation. And if I showed you a picture, I'm actually going to show this at the Healers in Healthcare conference, of me from 10 years ago to now, you can see my face was puffy. I had so much energetic density, meaning shame, guilt, fear, all of those really heavy emotions that were not processed because I wasn't allowed to feel. And I feel that a lot of us as healthcare practitioners too have experienced trauma in the workplace, being burnt out, having to deal with, these high demands and toxic work environments. I can bet that if you pull a bunch of community pharmacists or pharmacists in general, you will see that there is a pattern in how they respond. And that's why there is such a high rate of burnout, because we're not addressing these underlying reasons and root causes of the nervous system. So that's what I'm really passionate about. Go ahead.
No, I love the passion. The one thing that I feel like is I'd like to get to the root of is the root of that passion, because it's very personal for you. And so when you started on like your own, you mentioned all the things that didn't work, why they didn't work, and issues conceptually, thinking that's not going to work for me. It reminds me of a lot of the practices that I've done in, Native American healthcare, and working along the lines of traditional like ways of healing and thinking about healing as a holistic approach. But I'd really like to hear it from your perspective. Like, how did you start healing yourself, Christina? And how did you first recognize that you needed it?
Oh my gosh, it was the symptoms. I say the symptom tells the story. So why did I have an eating disorder? Why did I have anxiety? Why did I have PTSD? Well, I was kicked out of my house and I had a lot of trauma. I was homeless. I had no job. I had a crazy ex-boyfriend slashed my tires. I had all of these crazy experiences that were happening, and I can kind of be like, wow, it happened, that all of that happened. But it was that my life was so unworkable. And it's like, it was an addiction. I had a food addiction. That's really what my eating disorder was. So if you look at the root of addiction, often there's this quote, and it's like, there's no chemical solution for a spiritual problem. That is what it was. That was my symptom to say, Christina, something's not working. Your life is not workable right now. So we need to look inside, not through diet pills or X-Lax or all the other bullshit that I was feeding myself, because I hated who I was because of all of the abuse I had. And it was coming back to, as corny as it sounds, It's love. It's how do I come back to loving myself? And I think we all have different iterations of this, right? Like we have these protective mechanisms, especially in entrepreneurship, that come up where it's like, well, I can't charge that because of unworthiness, or I can't say that because then I'm going to piss someone off, or I
Yeah.
can't show up that way because then I'm like, people are going to hate me, right? It's all of these protective parts of who we are because of past experiences and the beliefs and the bullshit and the programming that we've been fed in this 3D matrix, this old way of being in healthcare. We're done. It's time for something new. So
Hmm.
this is what I want. And I'm so passionate because I have experienced it. And I know that I've talked to so many different people that have been dismissed. They've experienced abuse in the workplace. And I don't tolerate it. Like, we do not tolerate that anymore. It's time for an awakening in healthcare. And so this is what I want to do is I want to really get a bunch of people together, healers, people who really genuinely want transformation for our healthcare system,
Yeah.
pioneers. Anybody who's going to be coming to this is I really applaud you because it takes a village. Like, I love how you said it takes a community, because I cannot do this. I am not the one transforming healthcare. It's you. It's RPHLI. It's all of these other people that are coming together. And I'm so passionate about it because it needs to stop. We can't just keep cycling in and out of these, community pharmacy is a big one. Like, how are people not allowed to take breaks? How is there a pharmacist shortage? And I think that it needs to be healing, but empowering the healer in healthcare, because that is how true
You know,
transformation happens. Go ahead.
no, it's an amazing point you make there. I think healing the healer in healthcare
Yes.
is something that I've gone to several conferences on, related to it. Why don't we look at ourselves, Christina? Why are we so quick to go, as you mentioned kind of previously, going off of that same vein, you were talking about we're not good enough to be able to charge for cash services. We need to be
Yeah.
reimbursed through products. We need, these are the things that we're able to hide behind as a profession. But the other
Yep.
thing that we don't often do is we don't push ourselves to be able to do those new things, to be able to expand the
Yeah.
box further, to be able to help
Yep.
our patients in the way that we all believe deep down we need to be able to do. And we can see it. There's no statistical wizard necessary to be able to look at our healthcare system is failing our patients in so many ways.
Yeah.
And being able to connect those dots is not just we need to make sure people have better access to pills. I hate that, Christina. Like, just thinking, hey, if we can just make pills cheaper, we're going to make a healthier society. Wrong. And how do we motivate all of our colleagues to be able to go, it's important for you to be here. Like, it's important for you to be together. It's important for you to take that next step.
So you kind of had a couple questions in there, and I want to address why do we not go outside of this comfortable little box? It's because it's not safe.
Yeah.
And because we have been programmed and brainwashed that if we make a mistake or if we go outside, and I just recently had this experience where, I'm being a disruptor. I'm going to just call it in this movement. People don't like that. And I don't care because I believe in this so strongly. This is a mission. This is something so beyond me or any of us individually. It is about the bigger transformation. So I don't care if I piss someone off, but we have fears of, what is somebody going to say, and how, like, this is how I help my clients too, dealing and navigating with those fears of criticism, of what if I fail, of, as pharmacists, if we make a mistake, it has dire consequences. So it's rewiring the nervous system. Again, it comes back to that creating safety in the body so that it is safe for you to go and I'm just using you as an example, and Kevin, start a new service, in a community pharmacy, and knowing that it's okay to make mistakes, that it's actually, you can pivot. I have failed so many times. I can't even tell you how many times. I'm sure, we all have, but I think it's learning to kind of dance with the fear and to know that one of my big points that I want to come across with what I'm trying to say right now too is, like, pharmacists, know your worth, know that you have so many gifts to share. Just because you don't have 10 different letters after your name, I don't even care about that. I care about your heart. I care about, are you a person that is going to show up to this conference, play full out, be crying on my shoulder? I don't care. I'm here to hold you in this space, to empower you to know that you are absolutely limitless, that you can create anything that you want for your business and your career and your life. And it takes courage to come to a conference like this, where you're going to be stretching your comfort zone, but also leaving feeling liberated. Like, wow, I can really do whatever, whatever comes across, because you're going to be getting new ideas. You're going to be talking to new people, networking. So it takes courage to make these decisions, to make this investment in yourself, but you are worth it. I think that's so huge.
That's fantastic. So here's an interesting side story for you, Christina, that will tie right in. Savannah was talking the other day, my wife and I were talking about Disney movies. And we're like, why are they always so sad in the beginning? Like they are heartbreaking. And Savannah was saying, one thing that's great about that is the build, from going from the recognition of something being heartbreaking and broken to building it up and seeing the momentum that's kind of happening. And I really think that for healthcare, for our profession, like we're at that moment right now to be able to recognize this isn't good and snap ourselves out of, like you said, this 3D matrix of thinking of, well, I got to go to work and I got to push this bill across the counter and that's all there is to do.
Yeah.
You're going, I can really help people. I can save lives. Like I can do things that transform things for my patients long-term, that when I'm old and gray, I can look back on my career and say, I did something special.
Yes.
And so I think that's the moment that we're trying to cultivate here, is just going, you're seeing the brokenness, it's there, be able to connect with it, own it, and then make those transitions to make this transformation. But here's the piece I want to ask you on, Christina, is why not just have you and I, so you and I could talk all day, right? I mean, there's tons of things you and I could talk about. We're both very blunt. If you guys don't know us, that is Christina across the table. But that doesn't work. Like that's useless. Silos are useless, Christina, right? No impact is made in the silo. So when we called it here, why it takes a community, like what is the reason for a conference to bring so many people together? I mean, what's the hope of that spread and that work?
Oh my gosh, there's nothing like being in person, touching another human being, hugging someone, human connection. We have been so, we're on Zoom. I love Zoom too, but there's nothing like, connecting with someone over breakfast. I mean, like, hey, Kevin, I want to, go and start a pharmacy or whatever. And you're like, oh, well, let me connect you with Lisa Fast. There is nothing like that interaction of learning, growing, networking, partying, dancing. Like this is going to be such a dynamic event. It's not going to be like any other event that you've ever been to, unless you've been to like a Tony Robbins event, which I can't compete with that, but he's pretty amazing. But, and I'm not saying it from like a cocky place. I'm saying it from, I want you to be there. Like it is going to be so transformative, because when you get ignited and you get on fire, imagine what you can go create in your community. That is what this is. It's a ripple effect that, again, I am not the movement maker. It is all of us together, and we need all of you. Yes, energy. Oh, here's Kim. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Energy. It's that vortex. I call it like an energy vortex. And honestly, that's how this whole conference came together. If I can just share that story really quick, because it's really amazing. And it goes to show, I think, for some people too, like no matter where you are in your journey, fear is going to come up. Let's be honest. I was scared to put this on. Let's just be honest. So I called up Sue Paul about 2 months ago and I was like, I got this intuition. I got this download to do this big conference, but like, is this the right time? Da, 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 da. She's like, yeah, go for it. She was on the phone, just so encouraging, so sweet. I'm actually going to bring her on stage and just really thank her, because, I had a lot of doubt. I'm like, is this the right time? And the economy and all the head trash. And then I really anchored into the vision of seeing all of these healers come together. And I believed in that vision. I felt the fear, but I anchored into that vision and feeling all of the bodies there and seeing people get ignited and excited about what they're going to go home and create and implement in their life. And the people that they're going to impact. And that started to get louder. And then, you guys dropped in, RPH Ally. I started to get vendors and speakers and sponsors, and it every day. Like I just got a new sponsor today. I might have another one that's coming through. And it is just so beyond, it is a divine mission. It is so beyond anything that my logical mind could ever fathom. So I want you all, whoever is watching this, to know that yes, you're going to have fear, but if you have something on your heart, if you are pulled to this experience, if you are pulled to do anything in your business, I encourage you to lean on someone. You say, hey, message me. I'll be like, hey, go do it. Go do it. But to go for it, even if it's scary, even if it's like, oh my God, I don't know how this is going to happen, because God's source spirit, whatever you believe in, the universe will orchestrate it for you. All you have to do is step out in faith. So that's what I want you to know, that it will absolutely work out.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, it working out, Christina, like that's the one thing that's interesting about that word is sometimes it doesn't work out as planned, but it works out better. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty. I mean, being a man and woman of faith, I believe that God has a purpose for anything that we have, that we're doing or trying to do. Sometimes it is different than what we think it is, and always it is better and more incredible than what we even imagine. So I mean, there's so many pharmacists, Christina, that they're so inspiring. Like they're doing incredible things out there, doing innovative things. And I think that, from the RPH Ally standpoint, it's an honor to be able to have them in a network of colleagues, to be able to just all band together and be able to help each other. From this conference's standpoint, being able to see them in person and connect and champion and cheerlead and shake my pom-pom as much as I can to say, like, what you're doing is amazing and really making a difference. I think we need that every once in a while. We need to have people go, I see you. Like I see the things you're doing. I apologize that I'm not on every social media 24/7 and liking everything you're doing, but I know what you're doing and it's special and it's meaningful. And that's what's so cool about this, of finally being together in this kind of group. Any other things, Christina, you wanted to really make sure are on the hearts of the folks that are listening, and then some encouragement for them to know what's coming ahead, like what to anticipate at this awesome conference, other than Christina's going to take it 3 notches above Tony Robbins, is what I just
Oh my God. Don't put that pressure on me. So I would just say, so you're going to get CE, you're going to get, I have amazing speakers. I wish I actually had a list because I don't want to forget anybody's name, but we have speakers, speaker panelists, vendors, RPH Ally is a vendor. We have sponsors. We have intentional mealtime networking where you can, network and say, hey, here's my card. I want to connect with you. Let's do a podcast together. Oh yeah. You know what? My sister lives in whatever. Let's do a, let's plan like a retreat over where she lives, or anything. I'm just like coming up with random stuff. Oh, yeah. You don't know, but what will happen outside of your comfort zone until you expand. And that's a big part of what we're going to be talking about, because again, when you're living in this very fixed physical world, you're not tapping into the infinite possibilities that exist for you, which is what we're going to be doing there. You are going to leave, not only, this isn't like a rah-rah conference that you're gonna be like, all right, that's cool, but like, what am I leaving with? You're actually going to leave with a tangible, solid action plan that you can implement in your business. If you don't have a business, you might have different ideas that pop through. Yes, I'm going to be, we're going to be doing empowerment work and transformation. That's great. And you're also going to have those practical steps. And I'm going to show you my 3-part method to take your idea to implementation so that you can walk away with, wow, what just happened in those 3 days? Like, we're going to be dancing, we're going to be learning, growing, networking, like all the things. You're going to be dancing with me on stage, all of that. So it's going to be fun. We're going to just blow the roof off the place. And I can't wait to have you there. So if you are interested, if you have questions, let me know. I'm here to, be of service. If you're on the fence and you're like, I'm not really sure, just talk to me. I'm here with you.
I think the substance piece you bring up, Christina, is so important. Like being on the call we had the other night with the folks that are participating and leading and championing, behind you of what we're trying to do here. Some incredible minds. I mean, very bright human beings, very successful businesses, doing some very interesting things in pharmacy that I think are already transformative of just what they are doing in their own pockets of the world. And so
Yeah.
being able to connect with them in person and be able to pick their brain the way that will be put on full display there, I
Right.
think it's absolutely exceptional too. I mean, there's a lot of things to be done here from mind, body, and spirit, but the mind piece, you are not skipping that by any way, shape, or form. That's going to be on full display.
Yeah, exactly. I love how you said that too. Yeah, asking questions, like go pull Jerika Dodd aside and say, "Hey, like I have a question for you." That's what this is about. So, we're doing big things and from
Amazing.
May 5th to the 7th.
May 5th through the 7th in Cincinnati. I put the link to be able to register and get set up inside of the show notes already. Put it across the rest of social media. You can check out Christina. Where at, Christina? Where can folks find you?
Yeah, so LinkedIn, Christina Fontana at the Pharmacist Coach on Instagram, Monetize Your Magic. I have a Facebook group on Facebook. Just Google and we'll connect somehow.
Let's come together. So there's all the places you can find us there. We're going to get this incredible leader more often on RPH Ally. I will dig and dig and dig until I pull her in. So she's doing some incredible things. We're excited to partner with her in every way we can. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we're really looking forward to seeing you in person May 5th through 7th in Cincinnati. And we're going to have a great time there. I might even show you some dance moves, Christina.
Uh-oh, we're gonna have a dance off and I'm gonna win.
Oh. That's gonna be fun. All right.
That was a genuine laugh. I like that. That was good. A good way to end it.
I love it. See everybody soon. Bye-bye.